The January 6th committee held its 7th public hearing on Capitol Hill today, this time focused on far-right groups that led the attack on the Capitol.
A Northeast Ohio man who entered the Capitol that day testified as a witness today. More on that in just a moment. But first, our Brandon Simmons has a full wrap-up from Capitol Hill.
The January 6th committee today focused on Donald Trump's desperate effort to hold on to power after losing the election.
You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
The committee highlighting a mid-December meeting convened by Trump with attorney Rudy Giuliani and others.
The meeting has been called unhinged, not normal, in the craziest meeting of the Trump presidency.
At that meeting, strategies for Trump to remain in office were discussed, including having the military seize voting machines, an idea rejected by Attorney General Bill Barr.
I said, absolutely not. There's no probable cause, and I'm not going to seize any machines.
Failing at finding solutions, Trump, in the overnight hours, sends his infamous December 19th tweet, calling on supporters to come to D.C. January 6th, the day Biden's win was to be certified, tweeting, quote, "will be wild," end quote.
The time for action is now.
His supporters heeding that call. And on that day, Trump, knowing groups including the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers came heavily armed, ordered metal detectors removed and directed them to the Capitol.
You'll never take back our country with weakness.
The committee seeking to establish possible early coordination between the groups and Donald Trump and his allies. Also today, videotaped testimony from Trump White House counsel Pat Cipollone.
That I believe he should concede the election at a point in time. Yes, I did.
The committee making the case the president knew he lost, but convinced millions of Americans he won.
They put their faith and their trust in Donald Trump. They wanted to believe in him. They wanted to fight for their country, and he deceived them.
The committee looking to connect the dots between a president determined to overturn an election, engaging in a scheme to achieve it. That culminating in a violent mob attacking America's democracy.
Now, also today, committee vice chair Liz Cheney accused former President Trump of trying to tamper with a committee witness, saying he tried to contact them. Cheney said that information has been passed along to the Justice Department, Russ.
Brandon, also today, 2 people testified publicly. One of them, Stephen Ayres from Northeast Ohio, who was there that day and stormed the Capitol. What did he have to say about the attack?
A lot to say today. Now, today, the hearings focused on one thing, and that was connecting former President Donald Trump with extremist groups, saying that the riots that happened on January 6th were actually coordinated. Now, in an infamous tweet from December of 2020, Mr. Trump mentions a big protest in D.C. on January 6th, adding, "Be there, will be wild." Now, Stephen Ayres from Champion Township in Trumbull County has no connection to extremist groups, but he's one of several people who reposted Mr. Trump's tweet. He was also caught on video entering the Capitol that day. But since then, he no longer believes the election was stolen, and he worries about people who continue to follow what the committee calls Trump's big lie.
I was hanging on every word he was saying. Everything he was putting out, I was following it. I mean, if I was doing it, hundreds of thousands or millions of other people are doing it, or maybe even still doing it. You know, you got people still following and doing that. Who knows what the next election could come out.
Now, Ayers was arrested back in January of last year after he was identified in that video. He pleaded guilty to 1 charge of disorderly conduct in the Capitol just last month and will be sentenced coming up here in September. Now, this was the 7th committee hearing to be held so far. Today's hearing was also one of the longest. Now, what's expected to be the last and final hearing is supposed to take place next week, Russ.
Okay, Brandon, thank you so much.
Sure.